group, which will be Group E. Group E, of course, or Group E? Yes, E.
Correct.
Sorry, I'm kids. I'm forgetting my alphabet here. So Hpd Honda Challenge, of course, 1 and 2 won the faster cars, entirely composed of S2000s this time around. It would appear. Oh no, maybe there's a Acura RSX as well as a Integra there. H1 and H2, here we go. And also Performance Touring. Performance Touring is taking off right now, B through F. And after the Hondas, the Hpd Honda Challenge, we will have Spec Iron, which is all composed of S197 chassis Mustangs, all identically prepared. And then Camaro Mustang Challenge, the venerable class in NASA, pitting the Camaros and Mustangs. In this case, Camaros, Mustangs, and Firebirds. So here we go, folks. We are going to have one standing start or actually two standing starts, I believe, with Honda Challenge and with CMC. I'm fairly sure. We're going to see how this all shakes out.
Well, John, while we've got him out on the pace lap here, why don't we go over the starting grid there? For PTB, starting out, we've got David Schatz up front, Anthony Zwain in second, Nick Barbado, Amy Dilks, Aristotle below, and Jeff Rica in PTB. In PTD, we've got Charlie Hayes, Hunter Gall, Zane Dexter, Rick Gorieb, Dylan Dexter, and... oh, sorry, that is the end of PTD. In PTE, we've got Michael Newman, Jason Knoll, Warren Dexter, Brett Westcott, Danny Stain, Preston Pardis, Mark Gibbons, Jason Walsh, Tyler Harrell, Daniel Williams, Doug Lowe, Neil Houston, Brian Henderson, Todd Burris, and Brian Cohn.
Huge class in PTE there. Moving on to Hpd Honda Challenge 1, Michael Kanizak, then Daniel Hanovich, Stephen Pierce, Rob Oxford, Rick Benezik, then Vincent Coker, John Olt. Moving on to Honda Challenge 2, Carl Condor in the first spot, followed by Brian Casella, then Spencer Anderson, Rob Paskowitz, Michael Fries, Eric Olson, Zephyr Belsky, then John Reamer, Naveen Das, Stuart Phillips, Michael Young, Jan Wang, then we've got Helen Nestor, Jonathan Baker, and Jeremy Hops. Next up, Spec Iron, of course, James Ray, Cash Canada. Then we've got GT Meyer, Patrick Roof, Carmine Pace, Jeff Fight, Rob Miller, and Rob Kapkowitz. Then we've got CMC finishing it out, Bob Denton, Russ Carter, Sean Stern, Todd Johnston, Jim Mayer, Marshall Moore. So those will be your fields. They are going to come to the line here. Multiple wave starts. What I'm hearing over the frequency is going to be that we will have a little bit of flying and a little bit of standing. Now, what can we cross up here, and do we have any rabbit foots or other things we can do to make sure we
John,
have a wonderful start on this
fingers,
group?
toes.
I don't want to know what else. I don't want to know.
Knocking on wood with my head. I don't know what else we could cross up here. Do we have a rabbit's foot?
Wait a minute. There's the knock. Knock on wood. Okay, so we've done everything we can up here in the announcing booth to make sure that we're going to have wonderful starts here for Group E. Again, Hpd Honda Challenge, PTB through F, CMC, and Spec Iron. Next group, 45-minute championship race. Again, this is for all the marbles. Then we're going to have a couple of time trial sessions to close out the competition there. We'll check in with them, give you a summary of our thoughts for the weekend, and then we will bid you farewell here from lovely Watkins Glen International, just outside of Watkins Glen, New York. Legendary facility, one of the very first road racing facilities in the country.
The Mecca of North American road racing.
Very true, very true.
And, you know, I'd say their crowning achievement, the hosting of the 2016 NASA East Coast Championships presented by Toyo Tires.
Very good. All right, folks, they are through the boot and coming through the woods here. Lights out on the pace car. First field is looking brilliant.
And, John, it does look like we're going to be starting under green and a surface flag, and that would be as a result of the oil dry that we've still got on the front straight. But you know what? I think every session that we've started today has had a lot of oil dry dust on the front straight for that first lap. So, you know, these guys are probably used to it after running their warm-up sessions.
Yeah, I'd like to have the concession for the oil dry. That's all I'm talking about. Okay, folks, under control of the starter now. Let's see when we go green.
Starter holding him late again. Still no green. There it is, green flag.
A little bit of a late green there. All of the field Moving right along.
And here come the Hondas stopping on the
Hondas
front
are going to
straight
do a
for their
standard. Okay.
standing start.
This time, nobody missing the memo that they were doing a standing start altogether. Good job for our Hondas here. They're all in place. Starter's going to hold up a furled green, then unfurl it, display it, and as soon as the starter twitches, they are gone. Then we'll have Spec Iron and CMC also doing a standard.
And
okay,
green
H1
flag.
is gone. H1 is gone. Here comes H2. All right, H2 is up, lined up, looking good. Flag is up. There's the twitch. H2 is away. All started successfully. Great job. Great job to our H2 racers. Here comes Spec Iron is up next. Kind of looks like when you're getting on the freeway and they have the meter on that says carpools only and things like that. So here comes Spec Iron.
Yeah, brutal example of the Constantiner effect there, John, on the front straight as they just inch forward for their standing start.
Well,
they are going to have to get it done quickly here. The other cars will be coming around soon. Waiting for all the cars to get stopped, and they are stopped now. We see the green flag display, just waiting for the twitch. And there it
they're
is.
away. All right, CMC coming up now, final group. Oh, geez, and one of the CMC guys didn't get the memo and is not in position.
Oh, boy.
Just go, guys. Just go. Just go, guys. Oh, boy. All right, you know what? The starter is up there doing the best he can, but they got to go. Go. They got to go. Okay. Phew.
Look at that. Just as the other cars become visible
Well,
into
no,
turn 10.
they're still far enough away. Everything's okay. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
Serenity now. Serenity now. Serenity now. Okay, we got through it. folks.
No worries.
All right. Thank you for all the positive thoughts out there. Your karma gave us good karma on the track. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, here come the performance touring folks coming through. Dave Schatz out in front. Defending champion right there, Dave Schatz. 11-time NASA National Champion. He's won 11 titles, looking to add on 12 and 13 this weekend in PTB and TTB and time trial. Looks like some good close racing. Now remember again, these folks that are racing Mazdas here, they're eligible for some goodies in PT.
That's right, Mazda and Toyo alike.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, and as
All
you
right,
mentioned
here
before,
comes H1. Wow.
what a lead.
Let's see how big it is. Kanizak, nice work. All right, here comes H2. Looks like Paskowitz may have worked his way to the front. Spencer Anderson right there. Carl Condor inside of Anderson into the first corner. Casella also right there. Yeah, Paskowitz managed to work through, and he's out in front. That looks like Condor there, then Spencer Anderson, then Casella. Might be Eric Olson back there right behind him, but boy, a great race shaping up in Hpd Honda Challenge H2. Here comes our Spec Iron group coming down right now to the line. Looking good in Spec Iron. They are all nice and clean. Field is still fairly well together. CMC now clearing the woods. You'll see CMC coming into your view in about 3 seconds down the front straight. Let's see how CMC crosses the line right here. Looks to be out in front. That is Bob Denton out in front still. Followed by Russ Carter, Marshall Moore, then Sean Stern, Todd Johnson, and Jim Mayer. Wow, and PTB has already caught up to him. Schatz is already right there. Now that's going to be confusing because Schatz is in a Firebird in PTB, and now he's going through Mustangs, Camaros, and Firebirds. So hopefully they know to see. They look up and they see a yellow Firebird and they think, oh man, it's one of my compares. No, it's just Dave coming through.
And you know, Anthony Zwane and Nick Barbado in the two Hyundai Genesis, the matching livery cars out there looking great as they go through, very close to each other there. See if any of them have anything for Dave Schatz or if he's just going to run away with it.
All right, folks, we are waiting right now. Here comes our Honda Challenge 1 field through again. Kanizak putting, oh, well, he's already put on 8 seconds. Let's watch for our H2 competitors to come along here. That's an exciting race for sure. Here they come. Wow. Watch right there. They were, oh, wow, right on the edge. I think that Spencer Anderson has moved up into second. Right behind Paskowitz. Let's see how they come across the line. Paskowitz, then Condor, then Anderson, then Fries, then Olsen, then Casella, then Baker, then Wong, then Stewart, then Reamer. They're all right together still. Great racing in HPD Honda Challenge 2. That's one we'll follow and keep watching for you out here.
Yeah, and Honda Challenge 1, I mean, Kazanak just seriously running away with it. 8-second gap. If you look at the lap time difference, it's truly incredible. 2:09 versus 2:14, 15, and 16 for the rest of the cars in that group. So, I mean,
Yowza.
Kazanak is just smoking out there.
Well, this must be his track and also his day. Again, knocking on wood not to mess up his chances, but he's been driving very strong all weekend. Spec Iron right now, James Ray, then Robert Miller, then Patrick Roof, Carmine Pace, Jeff Fight, GT Meyer, and Cash Canada's dropped way down. He may have a problem there.
Yeah, GT Meyer and Cash Canada, both great names, I might add. They started way up there near the front and are both now 6th and 7th place respectively. Robert Miller, on the other hand, though, 4 places up into 2nd in the Spec Iron class. So doing great out there is Robert Miller.
Watching Dave Schatz just coming through, and he's having to wheel because Anthony Zwane is right on him, all over him like cheap cologne. Right there, we've got Schatz, then Zwane, then Barbato, then Rika, then Amy Dilks in PTB. But boy, oh boy, I think Dave's going to have to pedal if he's going to defend that title and keep out in front of Anthony Zwane. Interestingly, Dave all the way from Arizona, Anthony from NorCal, so neither of them has home court advantage here. All right, folks, let's watch again. H1 field down through again. Coming right along.
Boy, and Kanizak looking like he's got over a 10-second lead now.
Here come the first 3 in
job.
H2. Rob Paskowitz, then Condor, then Anderson. They're starting to mount a little bit of a breakaway. Now, that's amazing. Look at the 3 different chassis there. We've got an old Civic hatch. We've got a really old Accord. That's a 1990 Honda Accord coupe.
That's right.
And then, of course, an Integra out front. But that shows you how well the formula works with these Hondas. All of them motor swaps, so they have swaps from different Hondas. Often you use a K-Series or a B-Series or a D-Series, depending on what it is. A lot of times they use a B20 that came in the CRV, a little bit bigger displacement, more torque, but there's all weights again, trying to equalize everything.
Well, and John, you know, that's just another accolade for our guys who are making the rules out there. You know, they make these rules so that the cars will be competitive against each other, and it just goes to show all these different platforms neck in neck out there.
Looks like there's a heck of a battle shaping up at the front of Spec Iron. James Ray and Robert Miller just .208 apart. Saw Miller trying to challenge down the inside last time by. Watch that Spec Iron race. That's another good one.
In just about 9 minutes elapsed, John, in this 45-minute race. This is going to be our final championship race of the weekend, although we do have 2 more time attack sessions left for those time attack drivers to increase their times. Do the best they can out there, but right now this is our final championship race of the day, Group E. About 10 minutes elapsed.
And looks like, unfortunately, folks, we are getting reports of another car off course. So I think we may have some full course yellow in this one too.
And the PTE class, John, a great battle going on between Brett Westcott, Michael Newman, and Jason Knoll. Todd Burris also doing a great job in there. I mean, these guys just went through the lights nose to tail. Actually, you know, it was Danny Stain and Todd Burris making a pass on Jason Knoll. But I mean, again, you know, those Miatas just can't help it but run nose to tail out there. They were bump drafting and all over down the front straight. And here comes our H2 class yet again. hard to even see which one of those guys. The classes are starting to get mixed up now, but in Honda Challenge 2, we've got Robert Paskowicz, Carl Condor in second, Spencer Anderson third, and Michael Freeze in fourth. Jonathan Baker rounding out the top 5 for H2. And here come the the Spec Iron class. Looks like Spec Iron. Robert Miller still out front, but only by a little bit, only just about a half second in front of second place James Ray. A comfortable lead, though, in front of the rest of the guys there. Carmine Pace in third place in the Spec Iron class with a 4-second gap down there from James Ray. And it does look as though the double yellows have been displayed, which means we will be seeing a safety car out here. Unfortunately, folks, I thought we just might get through a group cleanly, but hey, at least we got 10 minutes, well, actually 11 minutes under green flag before this yellow came out. We'll have to see what incident we're dealing with. It looks as though we've got some cars off in the S's section there. We're gonna have to respond to those cars, get our safety crew out, get them cleaned up, and hopefully we will be able to continue on with green flag racing. But again, folks, just major props to our rule makers out there. These classes, such a wide variety of cars in these classes, and they all do so well racing with each other. It's really a remarkable thing that all these different platforms can come together and race in harmony, be heads up and truly equal out there. Some drivers prefer a higher horsepower car. Some drivers like a momentum car that they can turn better, but you know what? We can squeeze them all into a class where they can race together, head to head, heads up, and have some good racing out there. But again, folks, we are looking for our safety car to be taken over right now. Seeing if they've got that staged up. They do have the double yellows displayed. Or do they? I saw them a moment ago. What exactly
they're
is
out.
going on
Out.
here?
Yeah,
okay, they are out. They were just hiding behind the starter stand there. So the double yellows are being displayed around the course. We're looking for the safety car to regain our leader, our overall leader out there, which will be David Schatz. Dave Schatz out there running a 2:05.109, a very nice time for a PTB car.
Okay, folks, well, we are under double yellow conditions right now. Looks like our safety trucks are on course. Headed over to our incident now. Looks like we have about, 13 minutes down, so we still have 30 minutes of racing available to us. All right, folks, well, we are just going to hang loose for a little bit under double yellow. See how we are doing here.
And in the previous sessions we've had today, when the double yellow comes out, we usually have cars with major gaps going on, and as John and I have mentioned before, that erases those gaps. All the gaps go down to 0, and we basically start over again, so any advantage they've had, they will have to regain. In this particular case, though, not a really huge gap between a lot of the cars out there, at least the top 2 or 3 drivers in each class all running together, mostly on the same second, except, of course, for Michael Kanisak in Honda Challenge 1 with a 15-second lead over the next car. But
well, this is going to be significant for H2.
Yeah.
Because we saw that the only advantage that was being gained there was when they were able to put a little bit of a gap. There was that top runaway group, but now it's going to be back on and really, really, really intense as we come to a restart. H2, I think, is going to be right together. Now, also, let's talk about Dave Schatz in PTB with Anthony Zwain right behind him. Dave was working the traffic to his advantage, but that advantage is all gone now.
Well, as traffic is concerned, this group does get pretty mixed up out there with a lot of interclass driving going on, with the classes sort of dispersed throughout the track. So, there is always that possibility that there will be out-of-class cars in between the leaders and the ones who would like to be the leaders. We'll see if that helps them at all or hinders their progress in catching up with our first place Honda Challenge 2 driver, Robert Paskowitz. So, while we've got a little bit of a break here, 15 minutes elapsed, I'm going to go ahead and give you our current running order, starting with Camaro Mustang Challenge. We've got Bob Denton out front, followed by Russ Carter, Marshall Moore, Sean Stern, Jim Mayer, and Todd Johnson in 6th place. In Honda Challenge 1, we've got Michael Kanizak, followed by Daniel Honovich, Vincent Coker, Stephen Pierce, Rob Oxford, and John Olt. In Honda Challenge 2, Robert Paskowitz, Carl Condor, Spencer Anderson, Michael Fries, Jonathan Baker, Eric Olson, Brian Casella, Jan Wang, Stuart Phillips, John Reamer, Zephyr Belsky, Navin Das, Jeremy Hops, Michael Young, and Helen Nestor, bringing up 15th place in our biggest group on track right now, the Honda Challenge 2. In PTB, Dave Schott still leading the way, Nick Barbado behind, Jeff Rika in 3rd, Amy Dilks in 4th, and Anthony Zwain in 5th. Now, John, did we lose Anthony Zwain out there?
I don't know.
We'll have to put an eyeball on him because we were talking about that battle between Schatz and Zwain, and
let's take a look up front. There, yeah, we did lose Zwain because look, there is Dave Schatz, the yellow Firebird.
Just one Hyundai though, isn't it?
Yep, I don't see. So Zwain was in a BMW. I don't see him right there. Okay, well let's not. He might be out here somewhere, so.
Well, to be honest, I was calling him in the wrong car anyway, so it shows what I know. So, moving onward in PTD, Dylan Dexter leading the way, Charlie Hayes in 2nd, Hunter Gall 3rd, and Zane Dexter 4th. Rick Gorieb rounding out the top 5 in PTD there. PTE, we've got Warren Dexter leading the way, Brett Westcott in 2nd, Michael Newman 3rd, Danny Stain, Brian Henderson, and Todd Burris, 4, 5, and 6. Daniel Williams, Jason Knoll, Preston Pardis, Tyler Harrell, Doug Lowe, and Neil Houston, rounding out our top 12 there. Spec Iron, our last class out here right now. We've got Robert Miller in 1st, James Ray 2nd, Carmine Pace in 3rd, Patrick Roof 4th, Jeff Feet, GT Meyer, and Cash Canada in 7th place. That's where we stand right now.
Well, unfortunately, not the excitement we wanted to see. 17, almost 18 minutes elapsed out of a 45-minute contest here. Looks like they are working hard to try and clear the incident there just at the foot of the S's.
And plenty of excitement, John, but the wrong type.
Yeah. I guess, dog day afternoon here? I hate to say it, but boy, oh boy.
Oh.
So, yeah, we're exhausted up here. I can't imagine how the safety crews are
really,
hanging in there.
We're just mentally taxed up here, but I'm sure you folks can tell we're starting to slur and gibber a little more than normal up here. But hopefully we'll make it through this session.
Oh, we will, Jeff. We have no choice.
So I'm sure we will.
That was so. Let's think about it, though. We did have some pretty impressive racing there. I was really liking what I was seeing in that battle in PTB, and also really enjoying H2 and a lot of different drivers we haven't seen a whole lot of. All of a sudden, charging to the front. I'm particularly proud of Spencer Anderson because apparently he swapped motors and was he was running a B20 before, went back to the old trusty B16, and all of a sudden his game came completely back. He was struggling before, but now he's charging to the front. One of Honda Challenge's most experienced drivers. He's been in Honda Challenge as long as I can remember. Zephyr Belsky, also very old school, kind of the OGs of the Honda Challenge world out here. Very impressive. Michael Freeze, also a longtime Honda Challenge driver. Of course, we've got all of these drivers here competing, but these are some of the guys that have been there since the beginning. Carl Condor also. I can remember seeing him years ago racing at Road Atlanta in that same Accord, which, as I recall, he may have inherited from his mom and then made it into a race car. Very unconventional choice to have a 1990 Accord. How many are even left?
You know what, John? You may be surprised to hear this, although you may be familiar with the guy I'm talking about since we're both from the same area, but I have actually seen a 90 Accord that fast before. There's more than one, if you believe it. There was actually a gentleman who used to run in... I think that he actually raced a NASA event or two back in the day, but I always saw him at the track days. He was actually paralyzed from the waist down and had hand controls in a dark blue Honda Accord with a roll cage and stuff, and he was blindingly fast. So we know the Accord can do it, but definitely a funky option there, a funky choice for platforms. But you know what, John, like you said, if he inherited it from his mom, that's great. I remember back in the day, one of my first autocrosses was in my mom's 1992 Celica GTS, and that was a great time. Thanks, Mom, for letting me borrow the car. Sorry if I wore out the U-joints a little bit, but, it happens.
Well, and you look at some of the great cars. So let's talk about different eras of what people get into in terms of hot rodding. So, years ago, it was the Model A, right? Model T and Model A. Model A, you take it, put a flathead in it, take the fenders off of it, chop the top. Then you get into a while, and all of a sudden it's a Tri-5 Chevy, 55, 56 Chevy. Then I'd argue it was the 67 through 69 Camaro and kind of that genre. And then as you get along, all of a sudden it's a Fox Body Mustang, third-gen Camaro. Then as we evolve a little bit, I would argue, and I think I'm right, that after that it was the Hondas. It was the CRX, all of a sudden people are putting big motors in CRXs, going drag racing, back in the early days of the import drag racing, hot import nights, all of that excitement. I'm not sure what's next. I see a lot of people doing the Subarus and things of that nature, but it's really cool to see kind of the generational reset of hot rodding. But the one thing you find is that the previous generation will always think the latest generation, maybe those young Turks, we don't know what they're doing. But the newest generation usually looks back on their ancestors and says, hey, that's pretty darn cool. Especially once you get a friend of mine in high school had a Tri-5 Chevy that his dad had, I think they stuffed a 427 in this thing with a built Power Glide. And it was just stupid fast. And that made a believer out of me. I said, oh, man, look at this old box. And then all of a sudden, when I was picking my fillings off the rear seats, I became a believer. But anyway, enough about that. We are circulating one more time, and I think we're clear. So we're going to probably be going green next time by. Let's see how much time is remaining. Oh, shoot, we still got 20 minutes left. So we're going to probably blow about 4. Coming back to the line, green again, so we'll probably have, I'm guessing 18, 19 minutes with a cool down. I'm going to guess about maybe 7 laps right in there.
Well, John, speculation aside, and I don't want to go too deep here because the subject you just touched on, I could talk about for hours hours, but I do want to just touch on it a little bit. And one thing I got to say is if I had to guess what the current one is or what the upcoming one is it's the BMWs, man. Look at the E36.
That's right.
The E36 has become a totally successful platform in club racing, drifting, all sorts of different disciplines of motorsports. And, if I had to guess one, I would say that's the one of the future. And, hey, maybe 10, 20 years from now, we're looking at things more like the reboot of some of the other rear-wheel drive cars like the new Mazda Miata, the Toyota FRS GT86, replacement for the AE86 Corolla, and other cars like the Hyundai Genesis. I mean, we've got 2 of them racing out here today, and they're great cars. They're rear-wheel drive. It's a great platform. You can do a lot of things with those. So interesting subject to speculate on.
And of course, I don't mean to ignore the drifters with the S14, S13 chassis. What we used to call the Japanese Corvette, where you take an S13 and you stuff an LS motor into it. That's pretty cool. So all the generations of hot rodding, but hey, we're here to talk about road racing. And we are looking right now, and unfortunately it looks like Anthony Zwane may have been one of the cars in that contact incident. And Dave Schatz may end up winning his 12th championship, but not in the way Dave wants to, because I know Dave, and he always wants to win it the hard way, as it were.
He wants a battle. A good competitor. A true sportsman, Dave Schatz.
He is. And I remember seeing him at Laguna last year. He won all 4 titles that he had thrown his glove into the ring for. And then he was walking around barefoot because he was just too beat to put his shoes back on. So Dave Schatz, real champ. He's going for number 12 here in PTB. We'll see if Dave can pull it off. Of course, we'll have to see how he's been doing in time trial after we get done with this race and see if he's going to be a 13-time NASA national champion. Through the woods they come. Pace car lights are off. Indications are for a green flag single file restart. This time by. Nice long line of cars there. Pace car lights are off. See them on your screen in about 12 seconds from now. That black Mustang will dive off to the inside. Dave Schatz will have the field. He can set it wherever he likes, put it up on the cam a little bit, and then go, go, go. There they are under the Verizon Bridge. Pace cars off. Dave Schatz has the field. Starter awaiting the command to go, go, go. Ooh, field's a little spread out. People taking different lines.
Boy, in the late greens.
Green, green, green.
Woo.
A late green again.
Yeah.
Wow, and one of the Hyundai's got a great run in.
Oh, look at that little bump
Gave
there.
one of the Spec iron cars a little, hey, how's it?
A little more than a little bump there. That was quite
yeah.
a bump.
That was a bump and grind right there, I tell you what. I tell you what, that's right there.
All right, well, we are back under green flag racing, which is how we'd like to be.
Hey, look at the Hondas coming through right now. Looks like Paskowitz is right there, but Condor is all over him. Spencer Anderson right there, too, with Freeze just behind. Wow. That restart was, that's going to definitely, hey, that changes the game. That was a total reshuffle and redeal right there. So we will see how that one's going to shake out. Looks like about 20 minutes left of green flag racing here for Group E. Looks like we have a car off in the bus stop. Oh, you know what? That was one of the Hyundais that did a little bumper music on the Spec iron.
Well, I guess he maybe hit him just a little
Yep.
bit too hard.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Now another car has pulled over beside him in the bus stop.
Is that a
Now
BMW?
a third car almost, you know what? I think here's what I think happened. I think the Hyundai, when he hit that Spec iron car, you know, there was a great big tow hook right there. I think it may have punched a hole in his radiator. And now, yeah, they've got a cert. So the Hyundai puked out something right there, and that other car ended up next to him just because there was a surface and he wasn't able to negotiate it.
Yep.
And then he came right in.
Well, let's just hope it's nothing but water,
Yep.
and we can continue on.
So
And
we
the-
may have a surface condition here as a result of that fluid spill.
But you know what? Front-wheel drive cars do great in adverse traction conditions, and the Honda Challenge Group is already used to surface conditions from
Well,
our previous days' events. So
see
I
how it
think this
goes.
is. I'm guessing these guys will be unaffected, John.
Here comes Dave Schatz down the front straight, trying to get himself some room, getting out there away from the rest of the field.
And Nick Barbado not giving him any room though.
No, not at all.
1.6 seconds behind, and I mean that's not nothing. That is a pretty sizable gap, but
Davis.
it's a lot closer than anybody else is to him.
Now look, Dave is smoking 205.109. I think that's as fast as he's run all weekend.
That very well could be, John. That is quite a fast time, and look, he's a second faster. That's a 205.109. So I mean that is blindingly fast. 206.406 from Nick Barbado.
Drivers all coming now through the S's. Again, we do have that one car stop. Looks like a local yellow right there. It looks like we do have a bit of a surface condition out there at the bus stop. Not much to see on the cameras, that's why we're not showing it to you. Had a couple cars kind of get a little slippy there. We're monitoring the control frequency to make sure that they're going to be able to continue. Ah, gosh darn it. Looks like we're going to have to go double yellow again. Oh, that's too bad. All right, well, looks like Dave Schatz is going to... we're going to finish under yellow, kids. That's a bummer. So white flag and double yellows. Hey, guess what, though? Dave Schatz, he's now got a dozen titles. Just like a dozen donuts, Dave's got a dozen titles.
You know, John, he showed the white flag to Shots in the car behind him, but not the double yellow. I don't see him
It's
actually.
there.
Is it
it's
there?
there. You can't see his left hand. Well, maybe they pulled the double. Well, I'm not sure, Jeff.
You know, I saw his dirty laundry hanging out as flaggers. That's a flagger term for you.
I can't.
But that could have been the third yellow flag by the
Yeah.
secondary starter. We're doing a lot of speculation up here in the stands. I guess I probably shouldn't be. Just leave it to the track and see what actually happens. But these guys
Let's see what goes on.
Still
It is
definitely green flag racing, and the white flag is definitely out. So this will be our last lap. Let's hope they can stay green the rest of the way around and take that checker the way they'd like to.
Yeah. You know, the decision may have been to gather them all up again, and the incidents that are out there are not so perilous that they can't cover them with locals, and we are close enough. We're 30 minutes in, so it would have been nice to get a little more racing out, but with a big surface condition and cars parked all over the place, it's not a great result, but it's they got in some good battles. I saw a lot of good stuff, so we're going to see. I'm really interested to see how H2 finishes up, because they were all right there. And I haven't seen a clear advantage. I mean, Paskowitz has been running strong, but so have all those other folks. So let's watch as they come through. Dave Schatz, if he manages to stay out in front. Again, we're not going to call it till we call it, knocking on wood. Dave Schatz would have an even dozen national championships under his belt if he's able to pull it off here. Dave, all the way from Arizona to join us, brought his dad Joel with him. Dave also does a lot of crazy high-speed stuff. He's got a couple of really high horsepower things that he plays with, standing miles and quarter mile and things like that. Dave Schatz now through the woods. Going to see him on your camera now in about 3 seconds. There's Dave. There's the checker. Boy, and he had to work for this one with both Swain and Barbato, giving him all kinds of grief this time. So, folks, unfortunately, we are checkered. Would like to see a little more racing, but hey, let's not give up just yet. We still have some more racing to follow. Let's see how these Honda Challenge folks shape up.
Yeah, John, I'm excited to see this finish here as well. And right now, Spencer Anderson in the lead of H2.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we have had a shakeup. Paskowitz right behind him, though, 0.3 of a second the last time through the lights. Let's see how they do this time.
Here comes our H1 leader right now.
Right.
Kanizak checked out.
There's
here
our
comes,
PTE.
Here comes Spencer Anderson across the line for the win.
Look at that.
Hey, there's Rob Paskowitz. There's John Baker, I believe.
You're right, John Baker moving up. Look
And
at that.
freeze.
John Baker up 10 positions.
10 positions.
Into third place,
Wow.
snatching that last spot on the podium.
Hey,
John Baker's got to be
what a
overjoyed.
race. Go Spencer. I'm proud of Spencer. That's great. What a, swapping engines at the track, overcoming adversity. I think that's a definition of a champion right there. So great drive from Spencer Anderson. Honda Challenge 2 now in the books. We're waiting for some of our other cars to come across in our performance touring classes.
And we had our PTE leaders come through. PTB also. Not sure about PTD. You'll have to see. We just might be coming to the end of our checkered flag cars out there, in which case we'll be giving you our final rundown here.
All right, we have our last car over the line. Woo!
All right.
Well, that's our last championship race in the books. We're going to talk a little bit about our time trials as we get through this here. And wow, what a weekend, folks! And we are going to see how our time trial competitors are going. Wouldn't it be funny if Dave Schatz went out, now had to go try and get that title for that time trial B?
He can make it a baker's dozen.
That'd be pretty cool. So, hey,
Well,
let's start off the order, Jeff.
All right, yeah,
Let's
before we
see.
get on to time trials, go down our order from this group just finished. CMC looks like our finishing lineup is Bob Denton in first, Russ Carter second, Marshall Moore in third, Sean Stern in fourth, Jim Mayer in fifth, and Todd Johnston in sixth.
Honda Challenge 1, of course, presented by Hpd Honda Performance Development. Michael Kanizak running away with it in first place in Honda Challenge 1 in that beautiful S2000. Then Daniel Hanovich, Stephen Pierce, Vincent Coker, Rob Oxford, and John Olt. Of course, Honda Challenge 2, Spencer Anderson with quite a drive and quite a weekend.
Woo.
Then Rob Paskowitz, John Baker, Mike Fries, Eric Olson, Carl Condor, Jan Wang, Stuart Phillips, Zephyr Belsky, John Reamer, Jeremy Hops, Naveen Das, then Michael Young, Brian Casella, and Helen Nestor.
In PTB, John, we got David Schatz with the win, followed by Nick Barbato, Amy Dilks in third, Jeff Rika in fourth, Anthony Zwane in fifth place. In PTD, Dylan Dexter taking the win, Charlie Hayes in second, Hunter Gall in third, Zane Dexter fourth, and Rick Gorieb in fifth place.
PTE, another member of the Dexter family with a win. They're going to have a great Christmas with 2 wins under the belt. Warren Dexter with the win in PTE, Brett Westcott, then Todd Burris, Danny Stain, Brian Henderson, Daniel Williams, Jason Cano, Preston Pardis, Tyler Harrell, Michael Newman, Doug Lowe, and Neil Houston.
And finally, in Spec Iron, Robert Miller with the win, James Ray in second, Carmine Pace in third, Jeff Feet in fourth, Patrick Roof in fifth, GT Meyer in sixth, and Cash Canada rounding out the field. And just want to make a note here, Robert Miller coming out of nowhere for the win in Spec Iron, coming up 5 places, so quite an impressive run. There were all kinds of lead changes in Spec Iron, and hey, great race.
No kidding.
Good
so
fight,
we had
good night.
even though we had a little bit of drama there and we had to curtail the competition, I still really enjoyed watching that race. We did have some great competition out there.